Good morning and welcome to Just in Time for Coffee, the live Friday show, our Friday morning show, where we discuss everything related to recruiting. The idea for this show was a way for me to give back to the recruiting community, talk shop, do live question and answer session, and really kind of talk a little bit more about what's going on in my world, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to today's show. Today, I'm going to kind of switch gears a little bit from some of the previous topics. This is episode 4. Just to kind of recap some of the stuff that we've discussed on this show. Right now, we're really going through the workflow for business development. Talked about chicken or egg, right? We want to walk through, business development, account management, and recruiting during this show. That's kind of the idea. So we focus on niching down, 3 points of contact, reaching out and getting through to gatekeepers, your openers, asking questions, doing the importance of an intake and taking a very detailed job order, so you can create a very detailed job description, right? Those are really the things that we've really hit on for the last couple shows. And now I wanted to switch gears just a little bit today and focus on goal making, goal setting. We're headed into 2025. It's right around the corner. I mean, we're going to blink and it'll be here. And I think it's important to really start reflecting on, the year that you've had and thinking about the goals for 2025. So I'm a big proponent of SMART goals. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of SMART goals before, but what they are: specific, measurable, achievable, relatable, and time bound goals, right? So for me, I'm trying to get real specific on the type of work that I do. I like working with and working for community based nonprofits, more specifically, federally qualified health centers. But my target markets are FQHCs, mental health, dental, primary care, hospice, and home health organizations. And next year, I'm really trying to focus on narrowing my territories down a little bit. So I'm going to be getting as specific as I can here. So Florida, Georgia, Texas, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, the Carolinas, Maryland, and New York. Reason why I like to pick those. So obviously, I'm here in Florida. Spent a lot of time in Georgia, Massachusetts. We have a lot of activity there as an organization. Pennsylvania, same kind of thing. Carolinas, I'm looking to, maybe have a cabin there one day. So I'd like to establish a presence in an area that I'd like to be part of the community. So yeah, so very specific goals. And then you want to work towards measurable goals, right? So I want to get, let's just say hypothetically, an agreement a week. I think that's pretty realistic. So 52 clients next year doesn't necessarily mean that, we're going to really tackle all those projects. We're going to try the best, and what I'm really trying to work on too is funneling um, the clients that we do end up taking. I want to make sure that we're assessing their needs, and fillability before we really get on the search. So yeah, specific, measurable, achievable. So achievable goals, really important to have something that you really can achieve, right? You never want to set a goal that's too high. So for me, working on getting dedicated resource for outreach campaigns, leverage Titan placement group strengths, right? So that's the goal that I'm working on right now. Then I'm working on relevant goals, so goals that align with our mission. So for us, we recently changed our mission statement. Our mission now is, let me see here, forging partnerships with healthcare organizations to connect compassionate providers with communities in need, inspiring growth, retention, and strong, healthy futures. Right. So I'm really working towards being as mission oriented as I can next year. And I'm going to make sure that that's an achievable goal for us. And then relevant, oh, yeah, relevant. So, of course, yeah, align your mission to improve healthcare access, to underserved communities, right? I'm going to target federally qualified health centers and community based nonprofits, community mental health organizations. And then time bound. So for me, I'm going to try and set goals probably on a quarterly basis that I can try and track. So yeah, SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound goals. A couple other things that I'm working on right now, when it comes to database optimization. We use Crelate over here. It's an applicant tracking system. It's a CRM and applicant tracking system combined. So, I'm working on really creating, a streamlined process, for everything we do out of our database. Trying to make sure, the data that we have in there is good, reduce duplicates. We've got an IT professional coming on board next year. So that's something that's going to be important. Probably work on setting, quarterly goals as well. And, really trying to focus on things that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound. Going to be focusing on, the podcast and the live show as well. That's going to be big this year. So, I'm going to get real specific. So, one of the things I want to do, of course, is increase audience and engagement on both Titans of Healthcare and the live show just in time for coffee. Trying to work on how to do that, right? Trying to get more measurable. I think I can, commit to a certain amount of episodes, when it comes to the podcast. I'm going to try and do one every week. I think that's the goal. Um, Maybe we'll start every other week. I'm just kind of have to look at, where I'm at by the time we get to, ready to publish. I've recorded 4 episodes so far. So we'll just kind of see what's going on there. And then, I got to work on too for the achievable part, develop a consistent content schedule. I know social media, I'm big on LinkedIn, post very regularly, but I want to work towards having more of a schedule, more of a structure, more of a strategy, more consistent posting, that kind of thing when it comes to the podcast and really, and in general, so the relevant side of that would be, um, enhancing brand recognition, and industry leadership, right? We really want to be a subject matter expert, right? And then time bound, I'm going to set quarterly goals as well. Track those targets. Anything tracked improves. So I'm really going to work on doing that. That's what I'm working on. And then I've got, oh yeah, social media engagement. I'm really going to start to work and focus a little bit more on the content that we're producing, right? Everything from LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. If TikTok is staying around, I think we're planning on doing some stuff there as well. Keep an eye out too. Got some really, really great team members that are fired up about doing some cool TikToks next year. So very specific, not just social media in general, but trying to focus specifically on each specific platform. So that's going to be important for us. Making sure too that it's measurable. So, for us, we're going to track, how many times we're posting on all these platforms, whether it's, posting 3 times on LinkedIn, doing 2 reels on Instagram and TikTok. We're really trying to maybe achieve a certain percentage of higher engagement, but we're trying to, get measurables, really quantifiables. Okay. Something that's achievable for this, use a content schedule, and then really just, hold myself accountable to it. You sit down for a couple hours and bang out a schedule. It's going to be a lot easier, than just kind of winging it every day like I've been doing. Make sure it's relevant too. Fruit of the day posts are cool every once in a while. But it's really important to have a little bit more strategy behind the type of posts that you're doing. So for me, I want to make sure that all the posts that I'm doing are relevant to the communities that I'm part of. And then again, I think for social media, you got to manage it a little bit closer than quarterly. So I'll probably do monthly, maybe even bi-weekly. I think Kayla McGraw is on our team. Really good with social media. I think we're planning to meet at least once a month. But I'm trying to make sure I put a time commitment to that goal, if that makes sense. And then, oh yeah, personal goals. I wasn't sure if I was going to get into this too much, but I'll kind of share with you a little bit about my personal goals. Um, I've got a half marathon coming up in February. End of February, I am running the Disney Princess half marathon. And I'm trying to really work on making sure that race is not too challenging. I think next year I want to do that race. And then I would like to, in a perfect world, I'd like to run a full marathon. Um, my dream, or one of my dreams, is to run the New York City Marathon. So for me, right now, focus on what I can control. So I'm working towards a half marathon. So specific, I'm going to try and improve my time. Measurable, of course, is that time. So aiming for, around 2 hours or better, right? If I can do that, that'd be awesome. Achievable, making sure that I remain consistent when it comes to the schedule that I have, the training plan, that I'm doing. And then I'm doing a lot of cross training as well, and a way to try and help and support the running. So making sure that I continue that consistently as well. Relevant. So, I'm focusing on, personal growth and fitness. I'm going to be trying to maybe hire a coach, maybe get a book, maybe do some more YouTube university type stuff. And then time bound, I've got race day coming up, maybe like January. I'll try and, have a really good idea of where I'm at. I know that there's a run during the training plan that's 13 miles or 12 miles, I think, right before the race. So I'll take a look at that. I'm going to be trying to work on some of the relationships I have with some of my family members. It's really important to me. I'm a bit of a worker bee, and I'm trying to work on setting some healthy boundaries. I think it's important. I've got a son now, so that's something that I'm working on. Specific, yeah, deepening that connection. Spending that quality time. Measurable. Trying to have a lot of meaningful conversations. Maybe I can start tracking those. Achievable. I can definitely set aside time. So that's something that I can track and hold myself accountable for. And then relevant. Trying to talk about things that are important to the people that are, important to me, right? That's really relevant. Time bound too. I'm going to try and maintain, a consistent schedule with communicating with these individuals. I think having consistency is going to be part of it, and maybe track that on a quarterly basis. I think you can definitely apply, SMART goals to your personal life, or even when it comes to building and developing relationships with folks that you care about. I'm going to be working on creating lots of family memories next year. So specific, I'm going to try and plan a trip every quarter. Measurable, try and create unique experiences as well, right? Maybe 4 specific ones. Achievable, try and, maybe put a quantifiable number to the amount of money that I want to spend, right? So I can make it more realistic and relevant. Which is the next thing, of course, to strengthen the family bonds. Work on what's important to me. Um, that's what's important, right? So track that as well on a quarterly basis. If I'm trying to take a trip every quarter, I can do that. And then, just continuing to be there for support for my family. I think that's really important. So I wanted to hop on here and talk about SMART goals. I think it's really important, especially with everything that's going on. I know we still have, 11 days until the end of the year. So there's plenty of time really to sit down. I would really try and carve out maybe a couple hours. I know. So Gary and I, um, we've been doing it for like 4 years now. Every year we'll sit down and we will pull up a whiteboard. And on one side, I'll go on one side of the whiteboard. On the other side, he'll go on the other side of the whiteboard. We'll write, personal and business, and we'll write down goals. And we'll try and get as specific, measurable, um, relevant, attainable, and time bound as possible. And then one part of our meeting too is we go ahead and we pull up our goals from last year. This year, I think we do a little bit better. Maybe, revisit this on a quarterly basis. But yeah, revisit it and then kind of look to see, what have we done? So we can really start to think about those SMART goals a little bit more in depth, right? Before we just go ahead and get to work, if that makes sense. You either plan to fail or fail to plan, right? So it all starts with a plan. So there you go. I'm going to have to wrap this up just a little bit earlier today. I've got a presentation to do with the Sarasota Chamber of Commerce for Leadership Sarasota. So my plan is to go ahead and leave within the next few minutes and go ahead and take care of that. Come back, work my cook us off, and then peel out for the weekend. Spend some time with the family. So that's the plan, guys. SMART goals, SMART goals, SMART goals, SMART goals. Get in there, you have any questions, comments, concerns, cause for pause, I'm always here for you guys. My number is 941-539-5641. That's my cell. Call me, text me, smoke signals, carrier pigeons. I'm available. Thank you to those of you who have stuck around and listened to the show. It's only going to get better from here. If there's anything I know about Justin, is that it only gets better, as we go along this journey. So I hope you guys have a great day. Happy Friday. And I hope everybody answers the phone for you. Bye-bye.